Hi everyone, welcome back. In our previous video on PrimeNg Expense Manager design, we have created a new project and we set up everything. So in this video, we're going to create the sign in and sign off pages. So here you can see this is the final version of the sign in and the register page. So we're going to design this in this video. Without further hurdle, let's go into the video. So this is the page where we left off in our last video. So we have created the application, we have included all the modules and other stuff, and we landed on the signing page. So we're going to design this page, uh, just designed in Paint. So this is going to be the prototype for us. Like we're going to have an image and half of the screen. This is going to be image, and then the other side we're going to have a card which displays the fields and then the buttons to register, and this is going to be reversed for the login page, right? So the card is going to be this side where the image is, and then the image is going to be on the right side. So let's start with creating the sign in page, I mean the login page. Just go here to the sign in page, and let's create those two. Let's divide the page into two. For that, let's create a container first. Okay. So before that, I think we don't have the bootstrap in place. I told like I will be using PrimeNg Flex. I am not comfortable mostly with the PrimeNg PrimeFlex CSS, so I'm going to install bootstrap. So with that, we can just go to the documentation of bootstrap. Yeah, here npm install bootstrap. Just copy that and just paste it here. Okay, that's done. Let's go to our style CSS class file and get rid of this import of prime CSS. Instead of this, let us import bootstrap. Right. So with this, it should import the bootstrap into our application. Let us go to the sign in page, and this should work now. So let's create two page. Let's split the the screen into two parts. So I'm going to use the uh, column layout, right? Also, let me go ahead and give a div the class row, right? And then it's going to div class column 6, and this is going to be one column, and div class column 6, this is going to be in the column. Okay, so so let me add some text so that you will get to know how it's working. Let me go ahead and add. Let me save it. Let's go ahead and see how it's looking. See here, you can see now the sign in page works, and then you can see the left and right. So the page is divided into two, and on the right we're going to place an image. So let's add the image to the right side one. So let me give this a class to add the image to. So this class, let's say back image. Okay, so let's copy this and create a CSS here, and for this we need an image. So I've already downloaded one image from Pixels. So this is it. So we're going to use this image into our application. So let me drag and drop this to the assets folder. So assets, let me create one more folder inside this named images, and push this into this. Okay, so now we can make use of this image inside the CSS. So we are going to use background image using a URL, and this URL is going to be from assets images slash the image name is going to be this. Just copy and paste it here, .jpg, right? So if you save this now and see the application, see it's showing the image, but it is only until this part where the text is there, right? So let's update this into background size to cover, and let's add a height of 100 view height, right? Let me save it. So there you go. But it starts from here, so because we have the sign in works text here, so let's remove that. Go to here and let me remove this. So now it should show a correct page, right? So let me get rid of the text inside it. We don't need a text here. So if you are working in an application, so this part will help you in adding your kind of applications banner, what it does and everything, like the welcome page or something. So now we're going to work on the left side. We're going to have let's say we're going to have two fields like username and password. So in our case, we're going to ask user email ID and password, and we are also going to allow them to have social logins like Google and Facebook or other stuff, right? So that also we can do here. So let's add a card first, right? So that's what we need. So let's add a P card. So let me go to PrimeNg and have the, let me go here and search for card, right? And you can see the simple card that's enough for us. So we need the card module to be imported. Let's go to our shared module and see the PrimeNg whether it has the card module. So there it is. Go. We have the card module in place, so we can use P card. So as you can see here, it's going to be this simple syntax. Just copy paste this here. There we go. And there is an error it's showing because I think the shared module is not being used by the app module. Yeah, there you go. Let me add the shared module from our shared folder. So we have the card created. Let me save it and see how it looks in UI. So that the card is, so we need the card to be centrally it should be center of this complete page, right? So what we are going to do now, we're going to add a CSS here. We can make it as justify, so we can just align item center should be a good choice because we need to align it center vertically, right? And we also need a width, right? So style, let me add a style, height of 100 view, right? So now you can see the card is centered. So let me add the content of the card. The content is going to say, let's say H4. We can add sign in to Prime expense manager, right? Right after this, I need a divider. Let me go to PrimeNg document and I search for divider. See, there you go. So we need a divider. So like this we need. So let me go ahead and copy the divider module and import it inside our shared module. Go here, PrimeNg shared module. I don't think that's that. So see here, we need to import it like this, and then import and export it so that it can be accessed everywhere. So now I'll go here and I'll add the divider. So like this I can add it, right? Save this and you can see the change. See here, this is how it's looking. I think it's stuck, right? So let me add another div which holds the social login buttons. right? For that, let me create. So we need to know the syntax of prime buttons, right? Let me go here to the documentation and search for button, right? We need the button. Go here, the documentation. So we already have the button module in place. So let me copy this the normal button what we need and copy this. Or I think for social buttons, let us add Google and Facebook buttons here. So for that, I'm going to choose the rounded icon buttons. Let me go here and let me search for the source. And you can see there is a rounded icon buttons, right? So let me take this, just copy this and paste it here. And instead of I check, I need Google icon. So let me search for icon and let me Google. See here. So this is the icon name. So instead of p check, I'll just update this to Google. So if I save this, we should see the change here. So there we go. It is added. So we also need a Facebook icon. Let's say I will add that as well here. Right. Let me go to the icons registry here, list of icons. See Facebook. I will just copy the Facebook also and save this. I want this to be centered. Let me add a CSS class. Let me add display flags, justify content center, and I'll also just align item center. Okay, so let me save this and see the change here. It's moved, but there is we need some space in between these two. So let me add the CSS for this one as I'll add a little margin to the start, so it should look fine. Right, all good. And we'll add one more divider in between these two to differentiate you know, whether it is a social buttons they are using and then or they are using their own credentials to log in, right? So let's give one more divider in between these two, right? And then we'll add our rest of the content here, like the form. We need to just name it as login form, right? And we'll add, let's start adding the form details. Let me create another div to hold the form controls. This whole thing is a login form. Let me put this here as a login form. That's the correct one. And moving down here, it's going to be an email, right? And let me say this as email. And I'll add the input text. For that, we'll just go to the PrimeNg document, input, and there is an input text. So I'm going to make use of the basic one here, which is more okay for me. I don't want to use so before using it, let's cross verify whether we have this module or not. Yeah, we have it. Let's go ahead and add it to our application. So it's a plain text I'm going to add here, right? I'll just add it here. This goes, and then we are going to add, this is going to be the password field. I'll just say this as a password, And password field is different in PrimeNg. So instead of text, we'll just search for password. There you go. We got a basic, and then if you are using uh, if you want this show password icon, we can make use of this. So I'm going to make use of this one, so that is a perfect fit for us. So let me go ahead and add this module into our application, the PrimeNg module, where we have shared all the modules. So we'll just add it to the import and export. There you go. Now we can make use of the password field. Here to the source. So this is the show password one, and show password one is this, and then just copy it and come here to our application sign in page and replace here. So as of now, we don't need a ng model for this, and mask is yes, we want this. Just save this. So if you look at now, the application is looking like this, right? So the reason why the fields are a little squeezed is we don't have the width completely occupied. So we'll arrange them after putting all the components in together. Let me add so now let's just add the next field. So we are going to have a checkbox, which is going to be again from PrimeNg checkbox. You can see here there is a checkbox module. It should be there. So we'll just use the basic one. So for the basic one, it's here. I'll just copy this and paste it here. And it's going to say we don't need an ng model for now. We can get rid of it. And we'll just say this as remember me. Right, makes sense. I'll just save this, and we are going to add a button which allows the user to log in. Let me add a div and add the button here. For this, I'm going to make use of the normal button. Let's go to button, and I'm going to use this rounded button. This looks good for me. I'll just go here and search for source, and then see the rounded buttons. I'll just copy this one. There's more. I like this one. I'll just say login. Okay, and save this. And we are going to have a link for registration. So for that, let me put a link here. It's going to be saying, see, if you look at here, we have a link here, a button link. So we're going to make use of this one. So it is here. It is nothing but the link. Let's go here and then use it. And I'm going to say new user label. I'm going to say click here to register, right? So if they are a new user, they're just going to make use of this link to login. So now let us look at okay, not bad, but it is all scattered everywhere. So let us arrange this. First, let's look at the whole card. We don't need the card to be expanded completely, right? So let us reduce the width of this by adding some more parameters here, and then we don't want, so let's say let's so let's say we have defined the column as 6. It means like even if you are in a mobile view, so let's say we're on a mobile view, it's going to occupy the complete space, right? We don't want this to happen, so we have to define the column accordingly. For that, I'm going to make use of I'm going to make use of the respective columns, right? I'm going to make use of, if it is an small device, I'm going to make use of the complete width of the page. If it is a medium device, I'm going to occupy 6, and then if it is a large one, I'm going to make use of 6, and similarly for the Excel device as well, right? 6. And for the next, so I'll just shrink this because we are working on only this part. So for the other as well, right, let me copy paste the same, but in this case for the mobile view, right, so let me save this one. So now you should not see the but if you look at, we don't need this image ideally to be here, right? So in the mobile view, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to define, we are just going to get rid of this in case we are getting a mobile view. So for this, what I'm going to do is we're going to see or do display none and display md block. So what this going to do is it's going to show the image only if the devices MD are higher. Let me save this and see now. So we should be completely get rid of like we are not having that complete image itself. So let me go to the web view, and there we go, we got the image back, right? So we resolved one problem here, and now let's look at the content. So the content, I just want the whole content to be aligned center. So let me add justify content center here, and there we go. It should bring everything centered, right? Let me get rid of this one, and let me reduce this card size. Let's go here and wrap this complete stuff inside another div, right? So that we can move everything, or we can have the card itself used. Let me go ahead and add the class here. Class display flags. No, we want this to be wrapped up, so I don't want this to be used here. Let me go ahead and create a div, right? And then we'll push everything inside. Let me close this, and just you can hold Alt up arrow to move this complete stuff up. We don't need to work separately on this. And I'm going to give a class display flex justify. I'll just copy everything here. I didn't want to be, I just want the card to be centered, so I'll just give this here, right? All good, and just save it. And moving forward inside, see now the card is center aligned. So this is what the view what we need, right? So we got the view. So now I want so if we, right, so let's say we have a button and we also have the input boxes, so we should have a or in this line, so that will be better, right? So let me add a or in this. Let me add a bold or. Let me save it. So it is getting added at the beginning. So in PrimeNg we have a align property for this divider. I'm going to add the center. So now it is center aligned. See here, it looks much better. Now moving forward to the email button, I want this box to be expanded to the complete card space, right? So it has to occupy the complete space of the card. So I'm going to make use of the style property for the input box. Just say style with, I'm going to use of the 100% width. So now we should see the complete width is being occupied by the email. There you go. I want the similar functionality, but if you look at the password, it is kind of very next to the email. So let me add some padding. Let me add padding top 2, so that should resolve that issue. And let's so for this password also we need it to be occupying the complete space. So for that I'm going to make use of input style and style property. So it has actually, if you look at this, it has two input boxes, ideally speaking, right? So one is for this icon here that is having one input box, and this is another input box we have, right? So to make it work, we need to apply the width of 100% to both of the fields. For that, I'm going to make use of input style. It's going to have width 100%, and we're also going to apply, and we don't need a semicolon here. And similarly, I'm going to have the style property for this. So actually, there is a bug in the, the password input boxes that the PrimeNg has, because if you're not applying this both of these with as 100%, the eye icon is going to be outside of the input box. So that's why I'm applying to both of the input boxes. And we also need to apply a CSS class that we can apply through the style class property. And I'm going to do p input icon, right? And this is going to add this is going to keep the password field expanded. Let me refresh this, and there we go. We got everything fine. We almost pretty much got the login page, but this part still not aligned fine. So let us concentrate here. Let me add and again a padding of top to 2 here. So this adds some more space here, and then for the login button, let me add the same, right? Now you should see a decent yeah, there is a space, and we also need some space here to the label and in between the checkbox. Let me add a class padding start to, so that it will look good here. And now let's okay, let us center this login image. I'm going to make use of the display flags here, and we're going to use the display flags and justify content center. So this is going to make the button center, right? Yep, all good. And now let's align this one also. So let me copy the same class. We need this also here, but we don't need the justify center. Instead, we'll align the item center so that everything will be aligned vertically. So we should see, but also we need to apply a padding 0 on this button. Let me add the class of p0. Let me save this. Yep, there you go, but we need some space in before and after. So let me add those here to add it. And now we also need a forgot password link, right? So let us add a link here. Let me copy the same link that we need. And why can't we add it right after this password? Somewhere here, let me add it, and let me wrap this into a div so that we can apply some CSS on those two. I'm going to make a display flags again, and going to justify content between. Let me save this. There we go. We got the click here. Instead we need forgot password. So this link is going to take us to forgot password link. So I think we are pretty much done with the sign in page. I think it pretty much look good, apart from the space we don't have here. I think we can add an NBSP to have this. Let me add and NBSP colon. Let me try this. Yeah, there we go. So we can make use of this instead of wasting time. Okay. Okay, there we go. We are pretty much done with the login page. Let me tie this to with the respective pages. For that, I'm going to use router link. So go to the forgot password and add router link. This is going to direct to which one? Let us go to the routing module and see. Yeah, this is going to direct to forgot password. Let me go to the sign-in component and have this hard-coded problem with this. And similarly for new user, they are going to be redirected to the sign up page, the register page. So we can take that from here, the register user. Let me copy that and go and paste it here. Instead of forgot password should be this. So now if you look at this, yep, let me go here. Yeah, that is working, the forgot password link. And this is taking the sign up page. So both are working. So we can make use of it. And now I think instead of this plain login button, so why can't we use some icon in it, and when we click on it, it loads so that we know that some process is going on. So for that we can make use of the icons along with the buttons. So if you look at here, the implementation for button, we have a button with the loading. Okay, there is an icon, right? So once you click on this, so here you can see it loads, right? So we are going to make use of this functionality, right? And for this we'll just go to the loading, and I'm going to take this for us it's going to be on the right side, so I'll just copy this, and instead of our normal button I'll just make use of for this. But we also need this be rounded button. I also need the rounded button to be rounded, and I'll apply this class, and instead of search we can take an icon which is relevant to login, maybe a lock or something. Log, yeah, there you go, there is a lock icon. Let me this one, unlock, should be good, right? That's the correct option. When we click okay, unlock, and by default it uses a loading icon when you click on it, when this particular loading variable is set to true, right? Log loading, let me add this variable to our TS file. Let me create this as a boolean false, and let me go here and create a function called login, and let me set inside this. I'm not going to do anything instead apart from setting the variable itself as setting the loading variable itself as true, because that is the functionality we need. Good, save it and save. Yeah, both are saved. So now if you go here, our page is ready. So this is the new button which we are looking for. So when you click on this, it's going to load, but the rounded thing is not applied. So let me replace this with the normal things. Just copy this and paste it here, and just replace the P button instead of this. Okay, let me remove this. There we go. So now we should see a normal rounded button. There we go. It looks much nicer. So let's move ahead to the sign up page. So whenever we click on this, it should show up the sign up details, right? So let me copy the complete HTML and and then go ahead to the sign up page and just copy and then paste it here. So let's start modifying the start modifying it. When you save this, of course it's going to throw an exception because we don't need this. I'll just say it as sign up, and I'll create the same variables here. Good. And I'm just going to create a loading. It's going to be a boolean false. Save this, and I think I misspelled it. Okay. I'm just going to set this dot loading equals true. Let me save this. So with this it should work, right? If we reload the page, it's going to load the same page with the same image at the right side, but for the but the image is not getting loaded because we have the image code here. As the image CSS is being used within two components, we are going to copy this and then paste it inside our style CSS. Let me put it here so that it will work fine and we can get rid of it from here, right? And let me save this as well. So let me restart the application now. They should get the CSS for the background image, but for the sign up page, I don't really need this image to be at the left. I want this to be at the left, so I'm just going to move this particular background to the left and then the complete stuff to the right, and I'm just rename this to register form. Let me save this, so it should be on the right. So there we go. So this is what the functionality I'm expecting. So now we are going to modify this to accommodate the sign up. So first thing is first, we'll modify the header to register, right? And if we want, we can keep these two buttons in place, but I don't think it's required. If they are clicking on let's say if they are clicking on Google, if they are not registered, of course they'll be registered automatically and then they will be brought into our application. So we'll start from email and password and confirm password. So we need to have first name, last name, email, password, and then the confirm password. So the 5 fields we need. So we're going to make out that here. Let me save it and put the fields here for names. I'm going to have another div which is going to hold the first name. Okay, it's going to have first name. Another div is going to hold the last name. Okay, so we can use the same CSS, same input boxes here also. There we go. We have added the input boxes here for the first name and last name, but we need the heading. Let me copy that, put it here, and we also say this inside row so that they will come inside a row, right? Let me name it as first name and last name. Save it. Let me go ahead and check out what's here. Okay, that looks good. But everything comes in a single line, but we don't want that because we did not define this as a column. Everything is coming as a single line, right? So let me go ahead and define this as a column. And it's also a column for me so that they will appear next to each other. Yeah, this is what the functionality I'm expecting. And we also need to apply a padding for this email. Apply class padding top to 2 so that it will come down a little. In password, we need the similar implementation. We need two fields. One is accepting the normal password, and we are going to ask them to confirm the same password again in order to verify it. Let me go to this password field and copy this. Okay, we know we don't need the forgot password here, right? So just get rid of it, and we don't need. Okay, we'll just move this inside this div, and we'll say this as I'll just say this as a row, and it's going to be a column, and just copy paste the same again, confirm the password, and save it. There we go, we got this. But as this is a registration page, I want some feedback to be given. Let me enable the feedback for this. So that is a toggle mask, and password field will allow us to um, give some feedback about the password. I'll enable them. Okay, and for the other field we don't need it. So if you so let me save this so that you will understand what is that feedback field feedback property does. So if you are typing okay, it's not coming here. Let me check that out. Okay, so when you are typing the password, it will you know give you whether the password is weak or strong. That kind of a feedback it will give you. Not sure why it's not working. Let me check that out. Okay, so for now that's okay. So we'll get rid of the rest of the fields and update this input box as well. Instead of we don't need this remember me button, by the way. And instead of this, we're going to have the label as register or sign up. Good. I think this should be okay. I'll give register. Okay, and it's going to be happening the same way. And instead of here giving new user, already have an account, click here to login. Looks good, I think. Now save this and see. Yep, it looks much better. And I think we need to have some space in between the register button and the password fields. Let me add some more padding into the top. Yep, it looks much better now. Okay, good. So we are done with the register page. Now it's not linked to the login page. Let me add the link here. It should go to sign in page. Sign in, save it. Yeah, so it goes back and forth. So all good. I think I'll stop the video here. So in the next video, we'll see how we can create the forgot password and verify email pages. And then we'll look at how we can add the validation and the rest of the stuff to the authentication pages. That's it here. Thanks for watching the video. Keep sharing the knowledge. We'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.